now my language is suddenly A, B, and is this what I want? Sure. Oh yeah. R2. Okay. So A and B and A. Okay. What does this machine do? Well, the very first thing it does, this is the start state, is depends on whether the first character is an A or a B. If the first character is an A, then we kind of branch to the left, and we never return to the sort of right-hand side of the diagram at all. And if the first character is a B, then we sort of branch right. And so the first thing to observe about this machine is that S is like a cut vertex or something. This machine is really two machines in one that have been kind of ORed together based on what the first character is. Okay, if the first character is an A, well then what do? Well then we either accept immediately, if that's the entire string, or we stay in Q1 chilling with a bunch of A's, so A's seem irrelevant to us. By the way, we're happy. But if a B comes, we become very unhappy. And we stay unhappy with B's, but we become happy again with an A. And so I think it's clear based on the previous two examples that any string that ends in an A will be accepted by this left branch. And so if it starts in an A and also ends in an A, then the string will be accepted. But over here, it's just the reverse. Right now, if we have a B, then I stay happy reading B's in R1, but if I read an A, I become unhappy, and I stay unhappy reading A's, but then I become happy again reading B's. So on the right-hand side, we'll accept strings which end in a B, and so this machine simply accepts all strings which start and end in the same character. Okay. I almost have time to, no, good. Okay, last thing, this video is almost brisk for me. 40 minutes, something I usually spend 20 minutes in class doing, but you're all watching it on 2 times speed, so everyone wins. The last thing we should do, which I think is the real skill, which you're gonna do a lot of this for homework, is design machines to do certain things. So design a machine to accept any string which contains 0, 0, 1 as a substring. Okay, I think everyone knows what a substring is, so great. Basically, if the string 0, 0, 1 appears anywhere in that string, then we should accept that string. So of course, 0, 0, 1 is accepted, but so is 0, 0, 1, 0. So is 0, 0, 1, 1. And so are more complicated things like 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, or whatever else. Okay, duh. Okay, how can we do this? Well, you have to just feel it, man. And you have to, I do think this is my particular perspective, but if you become kind of emotionally involved in the story, then it becomes somehow kind of easier. So what we need to do, so we need to make this machine, right? And what does this machine want? It wants to be happy. It wants to find consecutive characters of 0, 0, and 1. If it finds a 0, and a 1 all in a row, then it's going to accept that string. And if it never finds a 0, 0, 1, it will be very sad and it will reject that string. And so our machine sort of begins, very unhappy. And there's no reason why we have to label our states with numbers. If we're just going to draw a freaking picture anyway, then feel free to use all the emoji that that God gave us to label. You draw a little pony inside here. You can do whatever you want, man. But here we go. We begin sad. Why are we sad? Because we haven't read our string 0, 0, 1 yet. In fact, we're not even close. What would make me still sad would be to see a 1. I don't want to see a 1, I want to see 0, 0, 1. Okay, well, one thing that would make me a little bit feeling better is if I saw a 0. So if a 0 comes, spending a lot of time with a 2-year-old lately, it's really improving my general emotional intelligence. So if I see a 0, then suddenly I'm feeling a little bit better because 0 is the first character of the 3 characters I'm looking for. Okay, but what would make me sad again would be if a 1 came. And so if a 1 came, then I would just go back to being sad all over again because I'm looking for 0, 0, 1 and that just doesn't work. But if a 0 came next, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I'm starting to get really happy. And in fact, all I need left is a 1 and it's all going to be great. Well, what if a 0 comes now? I should discuss. Well, you might be thinking, if you were, this is the one error that you would make in this kind of thing, is from this point, if a 0 came, you might think, oh man, I need to start all the way over from the beginning. But that's not quite true, right? Because what is the sort of defining characteristic of this happy state is that 2 consecutive zeros have come. But if 2 consecutive zeros have come and I'm looking for 0, 0, 1, then actually I just stay happy. If a 0 comes, I just chill here because, well, I think that's clear, right? Because I need 2 consecutive zeros followed by 1. And then finally, if a 1 comes, how did I plan this so poorly? If a 1 comes, then I am so happy, which is like, you know, like this. And that should be an accept state. And that's it, man, basically. If I read a 0, if a 1, I go back. If I read a 0, I go to happy. I stay happy reading zeros, and this is the state of the previous 2 characters were zeros. That's essentially what this state is. If I read a 1, I should be happy. And since I'm looking for a substring, that means then that once I find that string 001, then regardless of what other characters come in this string has been sort of marked as a string to accept. And so the rest of the strings are relevant. So I just stay in this love bliss state forever, reading all the characters until it's done because this string is already going to be accepted. Okay, that was too slow, but I think good and goodbye.